This is the Broadway Boys podcast through the Hockey Podcast Network, and we're back with episode 83, which is a very special, thankful episode where Andy and I get to share a little bit of our New York Rangers Thanksgiving table. And I'm just excited to do this one. It's a fun little segment we're doing here, Andy. And how's everything going?
Everything's good. It's getting brisk. It's getting cold, which means it's outdoor rink season. You know, uh, which is good because obviously this time of year, I can tell what time of year it is. A, by the hockey that I'm watching, via Rangers games, and B, you can just tell when it's like that perfect hockey weather, and you feel it in your bones, like it's a brisk day. And at first you're like, oh man, it's cold this morning, but then you're like, oh, this would be a perfect day to be out like on a pond somewhere and just, carving up ice. So, yeah, it's getting cold, but I don't mind it if that means I can, go out and skate, hopefully. So, yeah, I don't mind it one bit.
Well, that's the beauty of a frozen pond. It's in the middle of nowhere. If you can get there, drive your car out to the middle of nowhere, throw on the skates and, stick handle. And if you're lucky enough to have a net, just snap a few in the net. I mean, there's nothing better.
No, there's no better feeling than
Well,
being on the ODR.
I was gonna text you. I don't know if you saw the morning skates post of what's your favorite hockey sound, and I
Oh,
feel like there's uh, so many sounds that just resonate with me as a hockey fan, especially a New York Rangers fan. And one of them has to be it's a power play goal from Sam Rosen.
yeah, that is a good one. Because I saw that, I was trying to think what is my favorite hockey sound, and my favorite hockey sound is it's actually I guess you would it's I don't know if silence is a sound, but when you're at a live hockey game and someone a team is defending in their own zone and a forward like gets a stick on a puck, that a defend that try and do D to D pass, he gets that stick on, and then he goes the other way, and it's just 1-0 in the goalie. And that sound, because the crowd, everyone stands up slightly, they get half out of their seats and they go, oh, and then right before he gets there, everyone collectively inhales and it's silent and you don't hear anything. It's like white noise. And then
Yeah.
there's either like, you know, oh, if it's like Tanner Glass, or you hear like the yeah, if it's
Yeah.
like a goal. And that split second of silence, like I said, I don't know if it counts as a sound because it's a non-sound, but it's the loudest silence you've ever heard, and it's
Yes.
amazing. And it's just like boom, and then either like at applause and celebration, or if it's just like and that's my favorite hockey sound, because that's the best part I got going to a hockey game, especially if that's in overtime. If it's like a breakaway in overtime, like in 3-on-3, it's incredible.
Yeah, and then especially if that little bit of silence then follows with the Rangers goal song, which is, obviously the best goal song in
Yeah, the
hockey.
best goal song in the
So
league,
it's like a back to
absolutely.
back. You get a little treat. You get the silence, and then you get the total eruption into the best goal song in all of hockey. So, uh,
Yeah,
yeah. All right. So I'm pumped to do this episode. I do want to bring up actually one more thing. One more. I promise. This is it, and then we
sure,
can get on with our segment. Talking hockey. I bring
no
this
worries.
first off, they have an incredible business. They just throw up controversy and then get people to talk about it. And I don't even think they even see what they post. I think they just throw up random stuff knowing that this is gonna definitely blow people's heads, right off, especially mine because I keep bringing it
Yeah,
up every. But they did have one
exactly. They have a good racket going.
right.
What
No,
what
it's
did they say
brilliant.
this time?
Well, they ranked. I don't know if you saw this one, but they ranked Panarin as the best left winger in hockey.
Ooh. Um, I mean, he's up. If he's not, I he's top 3 right now, right? Because right wing in the National Hockey League, I think, is a little bit more stout. But I'm trying to think.
I didn't
I
look into
mean,
it.
he was the only.
I wasn't arguing with it. I wasn't trying to find a
No,
reason why he
no,
wasn't.
I think they're right. I can't think, especially after the season he just had. I can't think of, at least
Right.
recently, a better left wing in the league. But yeah, looks like they got one right for once in their lives. So good for them.
I
And
know.
they don't have you and I apoplectic about one of their rankings, so that's good. But no,
No.
I mean, I can't disagree. We're about to talk about our Rangers Thanksgiving table, and I think what perfect way to illustrate why he's the best left winger in the league than compare him to? Well, I'm not going to spoil it. I'll let you
All right.
tell our
All right.
fans what we're doing.
Okay, so this was kind of discussed between Andy and I, and we wanted to bring you something that was Thanksgiving themed along with New York Rangers. So we thought, what better way to create the Rangers Thanksgiving table than to basically give our, how do I put this? We made each New York Ranger a food, and we thought, we would try to pick the food that they would most represent. So, bear with us. You'll get the hang of it as soon as we do the first one, I believe. So, Andy, I'll let you lead off with this. I don't know how
Oh,
you want to start, but
hmm.
go red.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll just each throw a player out, and then we'll just try to describe them as food, and we'll take turns.
All right.
Well, let's start with the bread man then, right?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
for me, listen, I mean, Artemi Panarin is the turkey for me, and I don't know what you have him as, but for me, he is the centerpiece of the entire meal. If the Rangers as a team are the entire meal, he's the centerpiece of the entire meal. Uh, he has the most protein, which means he puts up, the best counting stats. He's got the most nutritional, well, I guess maybe not nutritional value, but he fortifies the entire team just by his presence. Um, and the best thing about him is that you can pair him with almost anything on the plate, and it's amazing. He's the turkey. He's what you think about when you think of the team. And yeah, I mean, I struggled with maybe making him another dish or two, but I just think for he is, yeah, right now he is the New York Rangers. If there's one person that is the New York Rangers, it's Panarin. So hence, if there's one thing that is Thanksgiving, it's the turkey. So Panarin is the turkey.
All right. Well, I totally get what you're saying. I went a little bit different.
Mhm.
I have Panarin as the mashed potatoes. And the
Oh,
reason I
okay.
have it as mashed potatoes is because I think mashed potatoes are like the goat of the table. Like everyone loves mashed potatoes. It's something that we do eat all year long. Mashed potatoes
Yes.
is, you know, everyone, throws everything onto the mashed potatoes. It's just it at the end of the day, I know turkey is the centerpiece, but the mashed potatoes is the to me the goat of the table. I know I'm going after the mashed potatoes first. So that's where I have Panarin, but I totally understand where you're coming from making him a turkey. I had him as the turkey, and then I moved him to the mashed potatoes. So, and with the
Okay.
and
Well, that makes sense.
okay, I'm not. Do you have any disputes
Well,
on my thought process there?
no. Well, I do want to know then who is your turkey, if you don't mind me asking, unless you're trying to save it.
No, I'm not trying to save it, but I do kind of have to go with a theme here, and we can do my
Okay.
turkey after the next guy. So my next guy
Okay.
is
Well, how about
I've
this? Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
all right. So the next player we'll
Now I
do is
want to hear.
Strome. Okay, Strome. I have Strome as the gravy because he's always attached to the mashed potatoes, right? You can kind of put him with, he dips a little bit with the turkey, dips a little bit with the other, maybe a little stuffing or something, but he's always with the mashed potatoes. And basically, the mashed potatoes carries the gravy along. And it's just a little compliment to the mashed potatoes. So that's why I have Strome and
Oh,
Panarin
okay.
as the mashed potatoes and gravy.
That makes sense. Do you want to hear what I had for Strome?
I would love to hear what you had for Strome.
So I had Ryan Strome as the cranberry sauce, and my notes are he
Okay.
can be sweet, but ultimately needs the turkey to be relevant. So, I think we were both thinking of similar things.
Yes,
Cranberry
absolutely.
sauce in and of itself is great, but you're not just saying, "Can you pass me the cranberry sauce?" and then just eating it off of a little plate by itself.
Right.
Our heads were in the same spot, which makes
Exactly.
sense. And
Exactly.
I did go back and forth with a lot of these. Guys were getting
Yeah.
switched around, but yeah, I ultimately think we're on the same page at that one. Obviously like to your point, the gravy and the mashed potatoes. The gravy needs the mashed potatoes, and the
Right.
cranberry sauce needs the turkey. So,
Right. Absolutely.
all right.
All right.
Do you want me to go next? Well,
Yeah.
I guess while we're on mashed potatoes, Mika Zibanejad is my mashed potatoes.
Okay.
And you pretty much summed it up. Fan favorite. Everyone goes for it. Maybe obviously at the end of the day, the turkey is emblematic and synonymous of Thanksgiving dinner, but people love the mashed potatoes, and yeah, mashed potatoes very versatile. Can go with a lot of things, just like the turkey. But yeah, it's always a winning combination with the mashed potatoes. Like I said, maybe not as emblematic ultimately as, but at the same time as a turkey. But people, yeah, who doesn't love mashed potatoes? Everyone loves Mika. Everyone loves mashed potatoes. I'm gonna call them mashed Mika or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I thought I was gonna come up with something cool in my head, but yeah,
Yeah, that's all right.
yeah. I'm gonna make Broadway Boys T-shirts. Yeah, Mika Mash
Yeah,
on it.
the
So
Mika mash, I like it.
yeah.
So okay, well, it's funny that you brought up Mika because Mika is my turkey. The reason I
Ah,
made him my turkey was because at the end of the day, I do feel like if we had one player who is a captain, it's going to be Mika Zibanejad, and that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love some other players, but for me, it's Mika. He's the closest thing I think we have to a captain. He's electric. I think every Ranger fan loves him, and he's at the end of the day, he's our first line center. He's the centerpiece. He's the turkey, and that's what I got.
I like it. Um, do you want to give me the next player on your list?
Yes, absolutely. The next player on my list is someone who plays with Mika, and he's the cranberry sauce.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so his name is Chris Kreider. And because, Chris Kreider is basically carried along by Mika Zibanejad, then, they complement each other. So, sort of like what you did with your
Yes.
cranberry and turkey, I did the same thing with Chris Kreider and Zibanejad. And basically, I did the same thing. Like he's a little sweet. I feel like there's a lot of mixed feelings about Chris Kreider.
Yeah.
I seem to be pessimistic, but a lot of people love him. So same thing with cranberry sauce.
Well, so again, we're sort of simpatico. Chris Kreider for me is the green bean casserole because you show up to Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe it's not your usual, like at your parents' house, you're going to your aunt's house, and
Yeah.
it's there, and everyone knows that it's such green bean casserole is a real mixed bag. Sometimes you have one and it's just delicious, and you're like, this is way better than it has any business being. And then sometimes it's just like a soggy, lukewarm mess, So you never know what you're going to get. So that's why I had Chris Kreider as the green bean casserole because you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. You don't really know what you're going to get. It can be extremely rich and delicious, but it can also be an undercooked, soggy mess with like bad crunches on top. Ugh.
Yeah, no, man, I couldn't agree with you more. But that's like a
There you go.
perfect, yeah, that's a perfect description of
Yeah,
a green bean casserole. All
exactly.
right, all right. Do you want to take on the next player?
Sure. So next player on my list is Pavel Buchnevich, and I went back and forth and like, what am I going to put Butch? And I put him as sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Doesn't get as much love as the mashed potatoes, but he's low key one of the best dishes there.
Okay.
It's got the that starchy heartiness of the mashed potatoes, but there's also always like a little pinch of cinnamon or maybe honey or in there, and it's low key one of the best dishes. I feel like you take a big glob of mashed potatoes, but then you just take a tiny glob of either mashed sweet potatoes. Sometimes they're like yams or candied or whatever, but usually it's mashed. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't really get. I feel like mashed sweet potatoes doesn't get its as much love as the mashed potatoes, but at the same time, it's really good. So I'd butcher as my sweet potatoes.
It's certainly. Oh, all right. Are yams and sweet potatoes the same thing?
Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean, I think
All right. I might have screwed up,
uh
but that's fine. We're good.
like a yam can be like candied, which is I don't like. I think
Okay.
they're the same. I'm pretty
Um,
sure they're the same.
a
They're both
little
orange.
little fun.
Maybe they're
Yeah.
close.
Well,
Maybe they're different. I don't
I don't know either. But a fun fact about
know.
me, I actually when I was younger, I ate a lot of sweet potatoes, and I actually turned orange, where my mom had to take me to the hospital because she didn't know why I was turning orange.
Really?
Yes. So if you
That
eat
happened to
enough,
the girl in the Partridge Family. She ate a lot of carrots, but in real
yes,
life. I
yeah.
think I was sad because she was like anorexic.
Well,
But I didn't know. That's crazy. So you ate so many sweet potatoes when you were a kid,
and
you turned
carrots,
orange.
yeah, all the orange foods I tended to like, and it's not like a
Let me
bad
guess,
thing.
your dad was making you eat them to get strong for hockey.
Yeah, no, no. Well, I was young. It was not yet. I don't think in my life where that came into play, but Um, yeah, it was. I wasn't. I don't remember it happening, but it's funny because I don't ever really remember liking sweet potatoes. So that's how long ago it was. So all right,
Yeah. All right.
enough about me.
Uh, yeah. Pavel Buchnevich. What did he fulfill on your in your
All right.
Thanksgiving meal?
So Pavel Buchnevich to me is such a unique player. I feel like he's like mysterious in a way. And so I kind of was scrolling through dishes to find like the perfect match for him. And I had a couple that floated in and out with him. But once I landed on this one, potatoes au gratin, um,
Oh yeah, potatoes au gratin. Yeah.
it's like a unique dish. It's has a like French sounding name, which makes it sound like a little bit more fancy than what it really is, which is just cheese and potatoes. So like I feel like that fits him. Like
Yeah.
it's different, it's
Also known
unique.
as scalloped potatoes in some parts of the
Yes.
U.S.
Yep. Exactly. So I thought that fit him. I don't always have that dish at my Thanksgiving, but I've had it in the past and it's
Yeah.
delicious. And you know, hopefully it becomes more of a staple in future Thanksgivings and future seasons.
I mean, potatoes and cheese together are never a losing combination in my estimation. So
Nope.
yeah, yeah, I like it.
All right. So
Who who's next on your list?
all right. So we'll complete the first two lines with this guy, Capo Kakko, and I made him the stuffing. The reason I made him the stuffing is because he's like, all right, I feel like a lot of people love the stuffing. Like a lot of people love it. There's a few
Yeah,
that like don't truly believe in the stuffing or don't really like it because it grosses them out a little bit. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, everyone loves the stuffing. And it's another piece of the table that's an absolute necessary. And I think Kako then playing with Panarin is taking on more of a bread form and he will eventually flourish into what is the stuffing.
That's a solid analysis, and that's what people come to this podcast for. I like it. Um, I Kako for me was also the stuffing, and my notes were everyone loves it, but it always runs out quickly, and there's never enough to go around. Because as you know, this past season was kind of tough for young Kako. He looked tired and gassed all the time. But what we got little flashes and glimpses of the most delicious, moist, wonderful, flavorful stuffing that's been cooking inside of the turkey. But just there wasn't enough of it. We didn't get enough, not enough to go around. It goes quickly. So hopefully they can augment Kako next year with more of like the box stuffing on the side, which you got to do,
Right, absolutely.
just so there's enough to go around. But yeah, I mean, literally, there's nothing more delicious and hearty and savory than just that fresh out of the bird stuffing. It's amazing. It's incredible. But there's never enough of it because you can only
Nope.
fit so much in there. Everyone wants it. Everyone's going back. So yeah, we were in simpatico in that one. He's definitely the stuffing for me. And yeah, like I said, hopefully there's more of him to go around next season because yeah, hopefully we get the stuffing we saw in the play-ins and not the stuffing we saw in the regular season.
Right. And then like shout out to the people who have the stuffing in the turkey and then do a separate thing of stuffing, which is not as good, but you're thankful that it's there because you can kind
Yeah,
of mix it in with the other stuffing to make it
yeah,
nice.
exactly. It doesn't. Yeah, you still
It's a
kind of get
favorite.
some. Yes, exactly. That's a vet move. So I hope you're paying attention. You're taking
Yeah,
notes right now. You should try that at your next Thanksgiving.
absolutely.
Um, All right, so that's our pretty much our top six. But I
Yeah.
have some more notes here for some newcomers and some other people. Who went last? Did I go or you go?
I
I
did.
think you started. All right, so I'll
Yeah.
start this next one off. Let's go with Philip Hedel. So for Philip Hedel, I had him as glazed carrots. Now, I know you're probably curious why. Because he's a veggie dish. He's ultimately complimentary, but he can still surprise you with his sweetness. At one point, if we had done this podcast a few years ago, Hedel would have been the stuffing or the mashed potatoes. But as it stands today, he's like, he's a sweet, and that's the other thing. He's one of those things that you're just like, it's not the first thing you're grabbing, but you grab it and you don't realize that it's like honey glazed carrots, and you're like, oh, that's sweet, and it goes perfectly with everything else. So it's a surprise. It's a nice surprise. So
All right.
and yeah, he's
All
a
right.
middle six honey. He's a middle six bottom right now. He's a third line honey glazed carrot.
All right. Okay, so for Heedle, I had him as the corn. It's
Oh,
one of those things where I think this year, well, like always, he's always there. I don't think it's like no one goes after the corn first, but
no.
everyone likes to sprinkle a little bit on their plate, and
Yeah,
it's a Thanksgiving must. It has to be there,
absolutely.
and that's how kind of I view Heedle. Like Heedle is one of the players on the Rangers where I think we're really lucky to have him. He's gonna he's gonna sprinkle us with his brilliance, with his stick handling ability and his explosiveness to sometimes burn a defenseman. But at a little Gibby thing popped up, and then
Yep.
and
Uh,
then but at the end of the day, Corn is like nothing special. It's nothing to write home about. So it is Heedle is what he is,
yeah. Well, our last week's guest, the Gibby, is clearly watching our live stream right now. So we miss you, Gibby. We're one episode out. I couldn't agree more on Heedle. I think we have similar ways of thinking about him. There's some people that swear by taking corn and just like taking a little spoonful and just putting in their mashed potatoes. Like I don't do that, but
I do
people
that.
love that.
Yeah, I
You
love it.
do that.
Yes, I do
Oh,
do
okay,
that.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And actually,
Um,
my great grandmother used to do like these like potato pancakes, but the corn would be in it. So it would be
Oh, okay.
potato pancakes with
That does
corn.
sound good. And listen, uh, KFC with their famous bowls, they've
Yes.
been doing that. So
Yep.
I guess proof of concept. People like it. Okay, I think it's your turn because I just went.
Okay. I went with Alexis Lafreniere. Uh,
Okay,
Big Al for me. I had him as the broccoli casserole. Now, this might sound crazy to you, but the broccoli casserole is low key my favorite thing
okay.
because there is plenty of it to go around because no one really grabs at it, but it's always exciting. It's always there and it's always reliable and it'll always taste the same and I love it. And I love it because people steer clear of it. And I know it has nothing to do with Lafreniere at all, but
But you love
I
broccoli
love
casserole.
broccoli casserole so much, and I know I'm gonna love this kid so much. So basically, this is more of a love interest rather than a food comparison. But he's the closest thing I have to broccoli casserole.
I feel that. I had him as the gravy because we talked about the Rangers as a team. They're just a meal. It's a Thanksgiving meal, and I just think about this Thanksgiving meal, and I think about gravy. It was Lafreniere. It was my gravy. And I think about pouring Lafreniere all over this team, and all the just everything gets better because it's like a on everything. I'm one of those people that puts it on everything. It goes on
Yeah.
the turkey, the mashed potatoes. It gets a little bit in the on some of the corn, and hell, even like if I have asparagus, now it's drowning in it. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
definitely.
I want to pour Lafreniere over everything because I just want to. I'm so happy we have it. It's so rich and it's
It's
yeah, it's
warm, it's
just it's gonna
comforting, and
it, yeah, it's comforting. It's gonna set everything off. It really so yeah. It's as if Thanksgiving dinner couldn't be great enough. Then you have the gravy just to go on top of everything, make it that much better. And that's I think how it feels to get the rights to draft Lafreniere, and hopefully how it feels. God, if this
yeah,
season, knock on wood, still happens.
I'm jealous that yeah, I'm a little jealous that you got a Lafreniere as your gravy and I have Strome. So all right,
You know.
I guess it's your turn now.
All right. Up next, I have Julien Gauthier. Julien Gauthier for me is the Brussels sprouts. Now, you sometimes forget that they're there. They always surprise you when they pop up. You're like, oh, Brussels sprouts. And you're like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Brussels sprout guy. Like, I only have so much room on my plate. But then you look and they're crusted with little pieces of bacon. And you're like, ooh, it look kind of good. And they look like they're glazed or something. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to try these. And they surprise you like, oh, that's good, actually. It's Julien Gauthier himself. He's like a big strapping kid. He's like, he likes to lift weights. He's a bodybuilder. So I feel like it's appropriate that Brussels sprouts is good for you, help you grow up big and strong. But yeah, and there's a little bit of intrigue there. But again, you kind of forget that he's on this team. You forget he's part of this. You forget the Brussels sprouts are part of this meal until they pop out in a little side dish. And you put three of them on your plate.
Well, that's a brilliant way to describe him because I
Yeah,
had the same thought process, but
yeah,
I went a little outside the box. I don't know if I really broke the rules here, but I actually made him the beer that's sitting at the table, like my drink,
Oh,
because
that works.
it's a nice fall beer, that's it's flavorful. And then, you're so used to eating, you just grab the drink and you just, you grab your beer and you're just pounding and you don't always appreciate it, but it's there. It's a nice tall glass. He's a big boy. It's got bold flavor. He's going to bring a bold game to the New York Rangers, and it's something that is very complimentary to this team, and it might not be attached to the table just yet because we don't know what we're going to truly get out of him, but it's a must have. That's what I should say. It's a must have.
That's that's very well put. And beverages are definitely on board. Trust me, we'll come up to that later. Who do you have next, James?
Okay. So we did Heedle. All right. My next one is I'll do Howden as my next one. I had him as the honey glazed carrots because I want nothing
Okay.
to do with the honey glazed carrots.
Okay.
And I know like it's sweet and some people might like it and like use that. Ooh, there is a little bit, honey glazed carrots. But for me, it's a steer clear. They don't go on my plate, which is ironic because I turned orange as a kid. But
Yeah.
again, no honey glazed carrots for me.
No.
That's Howden. I don't want it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can do
I
without it.
yeah. I had Howden as a steamed cauliflower. Uh, the host or your parents, i.e., David Quinn, tells you to put it on your plate because it's good for you, but space is limited and you really don't want to eat it, so you do so, but only under protest, and you eat it just to be like because you're eating everything else, and he's like, it's good for you, you should have it. So then you're having some Brett Howden when all you want to do is just go back for some more Kakko or put Lafreniere over more Mika,
Well, that's what you do. You have to pour some Lafreniere right over
Yeah, I'm gonna pour out.
yeah.
I
Gotta give
hope for
people
the
better.
Lafreniere's sake he's not wasted on cauliflower, but
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna. I have a feeling that James and I in our text now will only refer to the Rangers as their food. We're gonna be like, yeah, Mash is on fire tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully,
Green beans if Kreider scores a goal or something.
yeah. Hopefully, my turkey doesn't break his leg again,
Oh
like it
yeah,
did
exactly.
or
Yeah,
hurt
you
his
got to
leg.
be. Turkeys tend to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I guess it's my turn, right?
Yes.
How many more forwards do you have, by the way?
How many forwards? I have two more forwards.
Okay, I only have one. I think I didn't get everyone, but that's fine. It's all
Okay.
good. Uh, Brendan Lemieux, I have as a glass of red wine.
Ooh.
Now, it's a favorite of the older crowd, and is a welcome addition to the meal, but you have to have it in moderation, or else it can go south quickly.
Yes. Wow.
Too
That is
much can
great.
hurt you.
Yeah, that is a great one.
Yeah,
I had him. I had Lemieux as my Brussels sprouts. Brussels, it's a strong word. It's a gritty thing because there's bacon on it and stuff like that. I feel
yeah,
like it's a vegetable for like it's a very fall vegetable and it's a strong vegetable. And I feel like
yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
it's the goat of the vegetable because listen, we basically overpower the green beans and the broccoli and even sometimes if you have cream spinach, we mix the cream in. The Brussels sprouts, they kind of stand alone. Maybe you'll sprinkle a little bacon on top, but they stand alone. They're a strong piece. They're healthy for you. You need it. You're only going to take a little bit of it, and but you're happy it's there. So that's what I
That's
have for
extremely
the
well
Brussels sprouts.
said. Yeah, and I was like I said, I was thinking a similar thing with Lemieux and excuse me, with Julien Gauthier. That like the Brussels sprout has like it's got a hardiness to it, even though it's a vegetable,
Mhm.
but it can also have like a good saltiness or like if it's glazed in something, like it can surprise you because you just
Yeah.
like it's a Brussels sprout. Am I really going to grab it? But then you do, and you're happy you did. So
Yes,
uh,
absolutely.
yeah,
But you don't want a lot of it. You don't want a lot
no,
of it.
don't want a lot of it.
Um,
So there's I'm out of forwards.
I
You
have one
did.
more
I
forward.
assume
I
you
can. I.
yes. I assume this is Kevin Rooney.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't do one for Kevin Rooney. I forgot.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but why don't you tell us what Kevin Rooney is
all
for
right. For
your meal?
me, Kevin Rooney, I had him as a piece of bread and butter that you kind of just have on the side. You brought him in. Analytically, I guess Rooney is a defensive guru. Um, I feel like the piece of bread and butter, everyone knows what you're getting with it. You're gonna dip it into a little bit of everything, and that's pretty much it. Like it's bread and butter. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
it is what it is.
that makes sense. I like
Yeah.
that.
So
All right.
all right. I guess on to our defenseman. Would you like
Okay.
to start us off?
Sure, I will. While you're saying bread and butter, Adam Fox, for me, he is a roll. He's a hot roll, like a or a biscuit, whatever you want to call it, like hot rolls or hot biscuits, right out of the oven. Uh, and it's can go under the radar when you're thinking about Thanksgiving, but it's absolutely magic when you dump it into the rest of your meal. So you can, you like you said, you dunk it with, you put butter on it, it's delicious. You put some gravy and mashed potatoes on it, it's even better. You got a little bit of cranberry sauce in the mix, it tastes amazing. So you kind of forget about it. It doesn't get as as much press as maybe if Kale McCarr is like a spiral ham, it doesn't get as much press as a spiral ham. But I don't want to eat spiral ham with everything. I want to eat just take that hot roll, it's still steaming out of the oven, and put butter on it, or dunk it in my mashed potatoes and gravy, or get some little cranberry sauce on it, or make a little sandwich. You ever do that?
Yes,
You
absolutely.
open you open the biscuit or the bread roll, and then you make a little turkey Thanksgiving Day sandwich right there on the spot. So,
Yep.
and that's the beauty of it. So, Adam Fox was a hot piping roll right out of the oven for me.
Yeah. So, all right, Fox, what is ultimately the best part of Thanksgiving? And I think the best part of Thanksgiving is not the football, it's not the dinner, it's the leftovers, knowing that you're going to come back for more. So I made Adam Fox the leftovers.
Oh,
Why
that's
did I
smart.
make him the
Okay.
leftovers? Because it's great. It's the greatest part. Everyone gets so happy that it's there at the end of the night. And I made him leftovers because he happens to be whatever's left over of defenseman talk after McCarr and Hughes
Steal the
talked about.
spotlight.
Yeah, they steal all the spotlight. They're all at the table, and guess what? Fox is the leftovers. It's it's the best thing at the end of the night. Going back for another plate of all, and you know what it is. There's no pressure to put all the bad stuff on your plate. You only put the good stuff. You only put the stuff that you really truly love. So, Adam Fox,
Well said.
hang out the leftovers.
I wish I had thought about that. Yeah, I wish I had
It's
thought
kind of
about that.
cheating because it's not really a
That's a
food. I
really good way
kind
of
of
thinking. I mean, it makes sense for me though. I think
all right.
it's a perfect way to think about Fox. So I like it.
Yeah.
Who is next on
Okay.
your defenseman list? Meal list, I should say.
I'll do his partner, Lindgren. I had him as the sweet potatoes. Like I
Oh,
said, it's something that doesn't get a lot of love. It's always there at the Thanksgiving table. You're happy that it's there because it's, you know what? I like to take like a little bit of the sweet potato and sometimes dump it into my mashed potatoes, make it a little bit taste different, just to try it, be
yeah.
unique and crazy. So, yeah, it's just kind of it's a good dish. It's a strong dish. It's got a bold flavor, and if you like it, you'll love it. But it needs to be there. It has to be at the Thanksgiving table, and I think it reflects Lindgren's game a little bit, just like that. It doesn't get all the love in the world, but it's a must-have, and you appreciate it in those tough nights when you're facing a very physical team.
No, absolutely. That is good for him. For me, I had him as the butter because he's strictly paired with the roll, but they're magic together. Makes sense. If Adam
Yes,
Fox is the
absolutely.
roll, you put the butter with the roll. And I don't want to shit. I don't know if it sums up his game and how valuable he's been to the Rangers as well as making him the sweet potatoes. But like I said, I just think the butter, like I don't think people realize that low key that the rolls and the butter together is just such an important part of the meal. It really gives nice balance and breaks things up. So, and like you said, you can the real magic happens when you get the buttered roll and you just dip in everything else. So
Yeah, no,
yeah, for me, he was a Lindgren is the butter, and Fox is still at Piper Roll. Next, Tony DeAngelo. Now, I was really trying to rack my brain. It's like, what do I make DeAngelo? And then I finally decided that for me, Tony DeAngelo is the cream spinach. And I say
yeah,
that because cream spinach is very divisive. There are some people that don't shut up about how cream spinach is literally the best part of the meal, and there's other people that like, ill, I hate it, I want it gone, I don't want cream spinach on this table ever in any future things. And that's me with feelings on DeAngelo because I love cream spinach. I think cream spinach is great. It's a perfect it's a perfect consistency to kind of break up everything else. It gives it a little bit different flavor, and yeah, I love it. But it's not for everyone, and it can be divisive. And it's not. It's one of those things where it's kind of a one-trick pony, but it's a really good trick. So,
Yes.
I think
I,
Tony D is the cream spinach in my estimation.
Right. It's it's one of those things. Well, first off, my favorite cream spinach comes from Boston Market. But I couldn't agree with you more with Tony being the cream spinach
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it really is such a it really is. People hate it, and some people love it. I tend to love it. Boston Market has great cream spinach. It's delicious. Um, you can't
They
have it
do.
sit around though too long because then you know, it gets bad. It gets the crust over the top.
Yeah. Then yeah, and then Sebastian Aho like absolutely walks it on the wall and puts it in the net.
Right. Yeah.
But if you have it
Aho
sit
is
out
like
too
the
long.
spoon that like
Um,
But, I for him
exactly.
but for Tony, I had him as the, antipasto. I come from, like,
Uh,
more of an Italian Thanksgiving. It's the appetizer. It goes on. It's very Italian. It's a flavorful thing. There's so many stuff in there's so much to it that you kinda, like, don't even know what's in it, what you're eating, but it's
yeah.
good, but again, it's only there for one thing, and that's to get you to the next step. So Tony is for me the bridge between
Yes.
arriving and then getting to
And
the
the
meal.
meal. Yeah,
Yeah.
the main
So
meal. That makes sense.
all right. So that's who I had,
Uh,
Tony. All right.
nice.
So next on my list, I had Trouba, Jacob Trouba. I had him as the mac and cheese.
Okay.
Now, the reason I had him as the mac and cheese is because I've only been to a few Thanksgiving where they serve mac and cheese. But mac and cheese is something that everyone loves. And it's one of those things, it's very hard to screw up. You need it. And when it's there, you have to have it, I should say, not you need it. But when if it's there on the table, you're going to take a scoop of it cuz it's mac and cheese. And sometimes, it might not fit your meal, but guess what? You're going to eat it cuz it's mac and cheese. And that's what I feel like Truba is. It's like we have him, it's a it's a huge piece to our puzzle here, and it's often forgot about on Thanksgiving, but you're gonna definitely need it when the time comes. I don't know, I
Yeah,
don't know if that
I
makes
I think
any
that's
sense whatsoever.
no, I think it's a good way of thinking about it. For me, I had Trub as the corn, and my reasoning was he's maybe not as alluring as some of the other dishes, but it still tastes pretty good. It's
Hmm.
good for you, and you eat it ultimately probably, even though you might want to eat some other thing more, you eat it just to feel a little bit less guilty about the rest of the meal, and it's still good. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just not as not as alluring as maybe some everything else in the on the being served, but it's good and it's a hearty base for the rest of the meal. So and who knows? Sometimes it's like you get it, especially if you still get it on the cob. I love that.
Oh
Like,
wow, corn
instead
on
of
the
just,
cob.
you know, because it's definitely different, better to get it on the cob than like, this season Trouba they served Trouba in like a little dish where he's kind of wet, floating like corn floating in
Yeah,
like, it's just, you don't
so
want that. But next
yeah,
year, hopefully he gets served up on a cob.
yeah.
Hell, maybe they put a little bit of butter. They put a little bit of
Lindgren
Lindgren
on
with
it.
him. Who
Yeah,
knows?
there
Yeah.
you go. You never know.
You you never know. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so all right, you're up. How
Uh,
many do you have left?
I have two left. Do you have three left? I assume
I have four
defensemen.
technically.
Oh damn.
I have the two goalies and
Oh no, I'm talking about.
two
I was
Ds.
talking about just defensemen.
Oh, defenseman? Yeah, I think you froze
Yeah, how
right
many
now, so
defensemen do you have?
your face.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, two.
Yeah. How many? You have two. Okay, so I have two. Two. They might they might not be the same one. Brendan Smith. You want to do Brendan Smith?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you wanna
All
start
right.
or do you want me to start?
So yeah, I got to start. So Brendan Smith for me is roasted asparagus, and he's only there because at the last minute you realize you need another side, so you quickly throw asparagus on a sheet pan and put it in the oven with like as the turkey finishes, and then you have another side. He's a last minute like, oh crap, we need to like you know, someone to flank the meal down here, and you throw some asparagus on. So he's
Yeah.
a roast asparagus for me. I like roast asparagus, and asparagus is pretty versatile.
Yeah, no,
It's like it tastes pretty good when you eat it with mashed potatoes. You get all dunked up. It tastes good, but it's ultimately like I said, it's kind of an afterthought. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's easy enough to make. You don't even make it like you just have it on hand. Sometimes you're like, I don't even know if I'm gonna have it this year, and it's just there, and you're just like, what the hell? Let's put it in.
Yeah,
It'll
you
fill
didn't
in
even
here.
buy it with the Thanksgiving like stuff. You just like
No, it
it's
might have been left over from like last,
yeah.
last week, but you're like, I still have half a bushel of asparagus. I'm gonna do it. Is it a bushel? Is it a bunch? I don't know. A
I don't
bunch, I
know.
think.
Bushel sounds
Whatever.
like could be it.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, so for Smitty, I had him as the salad. Ultimately, it's there. It's not really something that you are looking forward to having, and it must be on the table because you have to have a salad. You have to have like the healthy option for people. Some people like to start with the salad. I end with the salad, keep the lighter stuff on top. It's just something that I'll end with just so I don't feel like a complete ass after what I did and stuffed my face. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I have. I have him as the salad because it's just like no one
Yeah,
really wants it. Like,
I think similar thinking. It's kind of an afterthought. It's there. You're gonna have it, but I only have one defenseman left, and it's
yes,
Jack Johnson.
hmm
Is that who you have left?
yes,
All right. Sorry, as someone outside is blaring their horn. The wonders of living in Brooklyn,
there
people.
you go.
So for me, Jack Johnson is, and I want to know if you know what this is the ambrosia salad.
Ambrosia salad. Well, I
Do you know
know
what
the
ambrosia?
name. I don't know what an
So
ambrosia salad.
ambrosia, for those who don't know, ambrosia salad is it's a salad, but it's mini marshmallows with I think it's either like peaches or orange in like sour cream. It's like a weird have
Whoa,
you've never seen ambrosia salad?
no,
Well, it doesn't sound very appetizing, right? Uh
no, it doesn't.
and someone's like you invite like a weird cousin and they bring the ambrosia salad and they're like, "Oh, try my famous ambrosia salad. You're going to love it." And you're like, "Yeah, I'll definitely try some of this," as you like fake put it
Sure.
on your plate and like put it away.
Yeah.
So Jack Johnson is my weird aunt's ambrosia salad that I want no part of. Yeah, I mean if you ever look up
I will look it up.
people love it. My brother loves it. My mom loves it. I can't stand it. It's just the consistency weirds me out. But especially when I tell people it's mini marshmallows and sour cream with like, it's just weird. But
There's no
people,
way that can taste good. I mean, I
people
kind of
love
want
it.
to. All right. Next time if we're, when we're back to our regular
We'll
jobs
have to figure
again.
out how to get some ambrosia salad.
Yes, and we'll have to have Gibby
Yeah, I
try
do
it
like
also.
when people put mini marshmallows and sweet potatoes. Though that's different, but that's always
Yeah,
great.
I never. I'm not a big marshmallow guy. I don't like
Mm,
marshmallows.
yeah.
I
It
don't
needs
know.
obviously very very venue dependent. The marshmallow depends
Yeah,
what it's paired with. By itself, no, but
never
put it
like
with
a
graham
fluff
cracker.
fan, like fluff with peanut
Yeah,
butter.
yeah.
I never
Fluff's
was like.
fluff's almost too rich for me. Like,
Yeah,
can't do it.
all right, good. I'm glad because I feel like such a loser when I don't like because people rave about it.
I, yeah,
But no, Jack
no,
Johnson for me, I had him as the candy yams because a yam is probably not that good. I don't know. I don't mess with the yams. I don't go after the yams if it is available. I stay away from it. I don't care if it's the greatest thing in the world. I'm not getting it.
no.
And candied
James
yams,
healthy scratches the yam from his
it's
meal.
definitely a healthy scratch.
Yeah,
And people, the candied yams, I would imagine they're just sprinkling sugar on something that doesn't or really taste good on its own. And that's what I feel like Jack Johnson is. Like you took us an old defenseman, you gotta you're sprinkling some sugar on him, be saying that he's gonna be good with us, but I feel
he'll
like
hold down the fort. Yeah, he'll be a
yeah,
great
hold
penalty
on.
killer.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like they're just feeding us some sugar or sprinkling some on our yams to make it taste better, but I see right through it. I see right through the yams, and you know what, I'm not
Exactly.
making not making a trip on my plate. So
Nope.
all right,
Yeah,
so
well said.
all we have I have the goalies left.
Me too. Same here.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
um you go first.
Okay. So obviously Igor for me, I have him as the pumpkin pie, and my why I have him as the pumpkin pie is because you have this Thanksgiving meal, and you know that no matter what happens, if no matter who's cooking, let's say the meal just for whatever reason it's an off Thanksgiving, it sucks. The mashed potato is lumpy and has garlic in it, too much that you like, and the turkey is like bleeding still, and it's yeah, the stuffing is all store bought and it's box stuffing. And it's just if the meal sinks, you at least know you take solace in the fact knowing that there will be some pumpkin pie there. Even if it's store bought pumpkin pie, it's still going to be delicious and it's going to save the meal. If even if the meal sucks, it can save the whole night if you have some
Yeah,
good pumpkin pie.
I agree.
Uh, and I'm just gonna do it back to back. That means Alexander Georgiev for me is vanilla ice cream because it's paired amazing, wonderfully paired with pumpkin pie. And even on nights where, even if let's say they didn't have the pumpkin pie for that meal, you still have vanilla ice cream, and you're very happy with it. Especially if you ate too much, like,
Yeah.
it's perfect. So, my goaltenders are my desserts, and Igor is pumpkin pie, and Alexander Georgiev is vanilla ice cream.
Well, that's very interesting because the goaltenders were also my desserts.
Yes.
Uh, and Igor was my pumpkin pie because
Nice.
nothing says, Thanksgiving, like finishing your meal with a nice piece of pumpkin pie. And I agree, the vanilla ice cream is a very, very good second dish to complement the pumpkin pie. But I did not make Georgie buy ice cream. I actually made him a cup of coffee
Oh,
because guess what? At the end of the night, you do need a backup plan to maybe kick some energy into your butt to last a few more hours. So you have that cup of coffee, and it kind of saves the night, well after that piece of pumpkin pie and that sugar spike wears off.
man,
So
that's actually really good. I wish I had thought of that because
well,
I'm
no,
a
I mean,
big
all right, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a big cup of coffee guy after my Thanksgiving meal. Like you have to make room, especially between your meal and dessert, just to get the
Right,
digestion going early, so you can finish, just all the food you want to eat, or have that you're looking at that pie and you're like, I just ate so much, how am I going to get there? But you have
right.
that, so yeah, he gets you there. So yeah, that's smart on your part, James. Like I said, I wish I had thought of that, but obviously makes total sense.
No, and I really like yours. I really like. I mean, the vanilla ice cream is a must-have with the pumpkin pie. But I just felt like for me, I definitely need that cup of coffee at the end of the night. Like it's
Oh,
a
absolutely.
must-have. Yeah. So, um, yeah. So, what'd you think, Andy? Did you like this? Like this little game?
I did. I think it's I hope for the listeners at home that we've laid out a beautiful table of what the Rangers will look like as a meal this coming season.
Yep.
You know, I do hope that we get some actual traction on the season soon so we can stop talking about the teams like they're candied yams and turkeys and all that. But it was definitely fun, and I think it's interesting to think it does kind of force you to really evaluate how this team fits together and what goes best with what. And who knows, maybe we peg some people as who knows, maybe Jack Johnson is not a candied yam or a ambrosia salad. Who knows? Maybe he turns out to be a corn. That's all we can really hope for. If
Right.
Jack Johnson ends up a corn
If he
at
ends
the
up
end of
being
the
the corn,
season, then that's a win, man. And same thing with Trouba. Maybe Trouba gets served out of the cob this season. So
yeah,
yeah, hopefully, James and I, these players live on this season as different foods.
yeah,
And yeah, well, I would like I said, hopefully there's more of it to go around. And
yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean, is there anything
And
else? Do you have anything else, James?
and also if you're listening to this, feel free to take a picture of your Thanksgiving plate this year. You're probably not going to be with all of your family or a large crowd, so you're not going to get totally judged for taking a picture of your plate. But send it over, tag us in it, and well, I want to see what players made your plate. So. I don't know. Maybe I will create my first plate. Will be like my dream combination of lines with like Lafreniere, I don't know,
Yeah,
Zibanejad, and a little bit of Kakko. So,
I
but
love
yeah,
it.
so yeah, and you
You
know what? It really is. It really is. You hit the nail right on the head when you said that a hockey team kind of is like a bunch of different dishes, and you got to find the ones that go together. You got to find the ones that you want to cut next Thanksgiving and not make the Thanksgiving Day table. So yeah, this is a kind of a good metaphor. That we have moving forward for this holiday weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And like like James said, yeah, take pictures of those Thanksgiving meals. Make if you want to make your lines, go ahead. I don't know how your relatives will react to what you're doing, but yeah, you tag us in it at Broadway Boys Pod. Yeah, I'm sure James and I will be tweeting out pictures of our Rangers meals. And yeah, if you're listening to this either live right now, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to this live Monday morning, I hope you're enjoying leftovers right now, and or if you're at work, you're not too hungover from a wild holiday weekend. And yeah, we're starting if you're listening to this on Monday, we're going back to 2 episodes a week, which is fun. So from this week on out, we're back to 2 episodes a week. So we'll have a lot more content. Hopefully we have some traction between the NHL PA and the in the league, so we can figure out if they are indeed going to make this January 1st date. It seems up in the air right now. Just there's a lot of factors at play. I'm sure we'll get onto it on our next podcast. But yeah, thank you for listening. Again, follow us at Broadway Boys Pod. If you're listening to this on your podcast provider of choice, if you want to watch, there's a video that accompanies this. You can go to our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and search Broadway Boys Podcast, and it'll be up there. And yeah, we hope everyone has a happy Turkey Day, a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you eat as much Mika Zibanejad until you explode.